Hello, everybody. Welcome to my weekly meltdown, presented not today by Allison, but today by me, Tyler. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my weekly meltdown. Whoa.
So professional.
Yeah, technological issue. Okay, all right, I'm back. So, welcome everybody. Today we're discussing the pre-merge of Australian Survivor and some of the merge too, and what's moving forward with that. Joining me, of course, is the lovely Deb and the lovely, ever so lovely Nate. And joining us today also is Russell Hands to talk about his brief appearance on Australian Survivor.
I don't appreciate the attitude. I'm a winner.
Has already made it longer on this show than he has the entire season of Australian Survivor. So congratulations on breaking that. Russell,
got this
parting words for us?
This idol around my neck.
Oh, yeah.
And this means I ain't going nowhere.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I'm here.
Yep. I think, guys, the three of us should split our votes on Russell and flush his idol and send him home real fast.
I mean, seriously, did he not think of that? But go ahead, sir.
I know, right? All right, let me put my AirPods in. Alrighty, so let's break it down. I don't have any notes for this just because I wanted to just have a conversation about where we think this season is going and what all our thoughts are on some of the people that have left and some of the people that are still in the game. So since we have Allison for a short amount of time, since she has only seen the first two episodes, Allison, what do you think of the season so far? And what do you think of this compared to Survivor US?
Well, this is the first time that I've ever watched a non-US Survivor. So this is all completely new to me, and I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I love that you can see butt cheeks. I love that you can hear words like shit. I love it. I love that they are fearless, that they start right out the gate. I love that they have people like war veterans on there with no legs. And I mean, that was amazing to me. I love that they have like real champions like on the show who don't talk themselves up as champions. They're like, a real champion doesn't call themselves a hero kind of stuff. And I love Australians, and I love the accents. It's just I'm all about it.
I changed my Siri to an Australian male accent last year when I watched Survivor Australia for the first time, and my Siri has not gone back since. I really love Survivor Australia, and Allison, you're right. Like, these are true champions. We have coming into the season of Survivor US, we have the David versus Goliath, which I think is kind of a watered down version of like how badass like this theme in particular is.
Survivor US to me is going to be watered down.
Absolutely.
I mean, now that I've only seen 2 episodes, it's ruined.
Yeah, I mean, Survivor Ghost Island was literally like hot garbage compared to the amazingness that was last season of Survivor Australia. That might be my favorite season of Survivor of all time. And Nate can kind of attest to like how good of a season that was and what it brought every single week. And honestly, like this season is well on its fast track to be as equally as good of a season in my opinion.
If not better.
If not better, yeah. I mean, they've already teased that the end game this year is the best that Australian Survivor has ever seen.
No, they said Survivor history, period.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
They're really so ready for that.
Yeah.
So I figured we would just have a conversation about everything and see, because me and Deb have talked a little bit about Australian Survivor, but I don't let it go on for too long because I'm like, I want to like save this for on air to break it all down with you guys.
Each week we're like talking about how painful the last elimination was. It's just week after week. It's just like heart-wrenching. You're like, no, my
right.
No. Well, don't go beyond the first 2 episodes while I'm here.
Okay, deal.
Like
perfect.
Every week.
Get into those real quick so I can get out of y'all's hair.
Okay.
So let's go right into it. So we have on the Contenders tribe, we have 12 amazing contenders. Some of them are some of the most beautiful Survivor players that I, in my opinion, have ever seen, have laid eyes on. Robbie. And then we have some really great champions too. We have some Olympic champions. We have Miss Universe for Australia. We have some. They really just pulled out all the stops with casting for champions, and what a hell of a tribe this is! Like these people are just really, really incredible. But I have to say, like the contenders have really given the champions a run for their money as best as they could, in my opinion. And so we start off with the first episode. Of course, the champions win the first immunity, and we have a classic case of a first boot who talks themselves into being a first boot.
What is his name? Mike?
Matt.
Matt.
Mhm.
What an explosion, that tribal. Like if he just kept his mouth shut, I truly think he would have stayed. I mean, like that was an example of a live tribal that just totally flopped, like not in his favor at all.
Like Tegan said it best, like he was not going home anytime soon. There was no reason for him to go anytime. It was just, he was just so overly paranoid of what everyone else was doing that he forgot about what he was doing, and it showed.
Right,
so
exactly.
Just, yeah.
And Deb, what did you think of that shit show?
Actually, it's been so long, I don't recall. I don't even remember it.
Well,
talking their way out the door, but
yeah, that guy was like, "This is what's gonna happen. This is that. Da da da. We're gonna have this way. We're gonna have that. It's gonna be the." And I'm just saying, dude, everybody's like behind you, side eyeing the shit out of you.
right.
They're running a side eye train on you right now. You don't.
It kind of reminded me of like the first days of Cagayan with Garrett and David. How they just kind of like buried their own position in the game.
Yeah.
This is classic. Like, do not do this the first day of Survivor. In my opinion.
And don't tell the women that they're not playing the game.
Right. Exactly.
Like,
the women all looked at each other and they were like, "Oh, really? We aren't." And that of course goes on to be a bigger theme this season. Not spoiling anything for Allison, but then we get to episode 2, and
send you home.
Yeah. So then we get to episode 2, and contenders win their first immunity. And Russell finds a hidden immunity idol. So now, since we have Russell on air, Russell, what did you think, like, when you first found the hidden immunity idol? Like, did you think it was a good move to kind of alienate yourself from the whole tribe?
Well, you know, everybody wants to sit around and sing Kumbaya by the fire. This is the worst impression of human being ever done.
I like it. Keep going.
Well, here's the thing. He's sitting there going, everybody's sitting around, Kumbaya, not playing the game, blah, 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 you know, and he goes on and on about it. He finds the immunity idol. He hooks up with all these, the nerd, the beauty queen, all of that. And then they get to, what is that, the challenge where they have to push each other off.
Mm-hmm.
He just gets up there, pushes that little Asian guy off. I feel so bad for him. And this little guy is sniffing around stuff in episode 1, trying to act like he's not looking for clues. He's just like looking around, and everybody's like, "What are you doing, bro?"
Yeah,
like,
he kind of reminds me of Ty in the sense that, like, he's just looking for idols and he like gives no fucks.
It's so funny.
Yeah. And then of course we see Russell Hands, like everybody, you know, A+ job to the champions for like saying like, this is our season. Like, we're not going to put up with this bullshit. And that's exactly what they did. Even though Russell, like, he literally went to everybody in camp and he was like, "All right, listen, everybody, I have a hidden immunity idol. I have it in my hand right here. I'm not going home." Yeah. And all the champions got together and they were like, "Fuck this. We are too good to put up with this." So now Russell Hands almost has a good of a track record with being a first boot as Francesca in Survivor US. So
and he's blacklisted from both US and Australian Survivor now too.
Wait, he's blacklisted?
Yeah, he got blacklisted because he was complaining about it. He was saying like, "Oh, this is the worst Survivor experience I've ever had," and he's like, compared to U.S. Survivor, this was nothing. They were being treated like it was a hotel, and like, who was it? I think it was Andrew from season 1 called him out on just everything. It was just like, no, I can tell you that all of like the stretch marks that I lost, like playing the first season or whatever, like those were real. And he's just like, this game is very, very real. Russell, get the hell out of here, man.
Well, not only that, but like they have 24 people. So this goes on for like 59 days instead of the 39 like in the US Survivor. Like when it got down to the final 3 last year, like these people were literally like skin and bones by the time that season was done. Yep. So Russell once again is incorrect, and he walks his incorrect ass out the door after being blindsided with an idol in his pocket. No, it wasn't even in his pocket. It was around his neck.
Yeah, it was a noose.
Fucking
yeah, he was hanging himself during the entire tribal council. His sister says, "I'm not leaving. I'm not going home." Yeah. Well, they end up voting for him and the other lady, forcing a tie.
Yeah.
And he can't use the immunity idol the second time. And the look on his, like, oh my God.
Yeah, he knows that he fucked up.
Yep.
Utter disbelief. So like, well, okay. Here's the thing, that they are playing the game. They're playing it differently from the US. And that's kind of how you have to look at it. They're not, they're not going to play the game the same way. They're going to do things differently. Did he not watch freaking Survivor Australia before he came on the show?
Probably not. Guarantee it. He probably thought like, I have the best strategy ever. I'm going to go out there and talk to one of the dumb girls, and I'm going to get myself to the end.
I just love Russell, though. I can't help it. He trips me out. It just makes me laugh.
He's entertaining television.
Yeah,
but,
he is, and of all people for that to happen to, I'm all for
it. Here's the thing with Australian Survivor. Like, their strategy is still technically, like, at the point where like the middle school Survivor US was.
Yeah,
like,
I agree with that.
So it's technically slower, and it deserves to be slower because it's a much longer game. So it's going to be more stretched out. He was playing new school, like Survivor, like current Survivor, US Survivor in old school Survivor. And if you looked at older school, middle school Survivor, stuff like that did not fly whatsoever. Right. So yeah, it was just, he was playing to the wrong cast. It was just.
Yeah, absolutely. So Allison, I don't know if you wanted to dip out here, but we're gonna go on from here with stuff you haven't seen yet.
Were you all hysterical when he got voted out? Like, I was literally hysterical laughing.
I was. I was like, this is real life. I go, is this happening? I'm looking around, and the only people in the room are my cats. And I'm honestly,
I am so happy this happened, in all seriousness, because like what an incredible cast we have, and we would have gotten to know none of these people if Russell was there taking up all the airtime.
Right.
I was also slightly embarrassed that Russell was the U.S. representative.
I know. It's so bad. It's so good. It's so bad.
Well, who else do you think they could have like had in that conversation?
If people like would have like been okay with coming back, like Sandra for sure would have, like, if they asked her, yes.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Boston Rob wouldn't have said yes, but like I would have much rather have seen Rob than Russell.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah,
Tarzan.
Yeah.
Tarzan.
And any of the 3+ time survivors, I would have been okay with seeing an Australian Survivor. Honestly.
Yeah. Or a fan favorite game changer, Sierra Dawn Thomas. I think she's a good representation.
All right, guys.
She played okay.
She's a game changer.
I'm gonna dip out of here and let y'all get to it.
Okay.
And just shoot me a message when you're ready to go.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thanks, Russell.
Bye.
And remember, I'm listening.
That's not terrifying.
I'm always listening.
Okay, bye.
Okay, we're gonna all vote her out next, right?
I'm just gonna say like right, exactly.
Immediately.
She's still muted. Okay, I'll just wait like 2 or 3 seconds before we.
Ever.
All right, we're gonna start spoiling the next episode. 3, 2, 1. Bye, Allison. Okay, so next we have the contenders who win the next immunity challenge, which is it looks like they're doing pretty well here. And then they unfortunately the champions decide to send Damien home.
Well, I wouldn't say the champions did. I would say Jackie decided that Damien goes home.
That's true. Jackie had a lot of pull early on in the season.
She's devious.
She was the AK of the season.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And but just like AK, like I feel like she played a little too hard, too fast.
Yeah.
Like we'll way too much social capital. And you're right, Nate. Like this isn't like new school Survivor US. Like this is more like a marathon than like a sprint to the end kind of thing.
Yeah, like the most recent episode, they just hit day 39. Like they still got 16 more days to go, and they look like they've been out there for 39 days. They look like what people look like on the last day of US Survivor. So it's like, oh God.
Yeah, and they have even further to go, which is crazy. But you're right. So Jackie kind of orchestrates this plan for Damien to go home. The only people on the outs are Damien and Steve. Yeah. So we see Damien. Yeah, no, we see Damien leave. I think that this was kind of the right decision because like even though like he has this great story or whatever, like you never want to take a story like that to the end.
No, never, ever.
Yeah. And it didn't help him that he sided with Russell in the previous round either. Like he was one of the few that believed Russell, that was with Russell, and was just like, yeah, I want to play the game with him. And it was just like, dude, you're not doing yourself any favors. You're already a big threat. Just float.
Right, exactly. So then the next episode, we see the demise of the other Steve K, our little Ty, if you will. He tries to get in like really cool with all the bros, and this is where we see him trying to get in with like Robbie and with Zach and everything like that. But these guys are just kind of like, you know, what worth is this guy bringing him? And you know, all the girls are coming together and saying like, you know, like this guy could be a number for like the bro-y guys. And I think that this divide in the contenders that's growing at this point is really interesting. You know, like especially Zach leading the charge here. He really does a great job of like degrading all of these women on the tribe.
So horrible.
It's really terrible. Yeah. I mean, like he's having confessionals about what did he say? He was like, you know, maybe the women can win like a pie making contest or something, or
like they can make a sandwich. He said the classic sandwich thing. It was just like, dude, just shut up. Like
really terrible. And I also think that like the other guys are not bad people. Like Benji and Robbie, they just kind of like got clumped in with this like really douchey, misogynistic.
A little bit of a he's a bad guy. He's a villain.
Benji?
He is, but it's not coming from like a misogynistic place.
Yeah, not like
No, that's horrible.
Yeah.
But no,
that's what I mean. Like and Zach's the one that takes it all personal.
Yeah, and like to be fair, Zach did say in like pre and post interviews that he was going to go in knowingly like going to be like a douchebag. Like he knew he was going to be that way. He knew that people were going to read him that way. But they're like you can circumvent that. Like he said himself, he's seen every season. Douchebags don't last long. Like that.
Right. Like your size is already going to make you a target. You don't need to like put a nice like little misogynistic bow on it and say, please vote me out, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So everybody kind of comes together and votes out Steve. There are like a few votes for Paige, just in case, because they were worried that Steve was really idol hunting. They were worried that he had found one. And honestly, like, I don't blame them for being worried here. Steve, to me, seems like the person that would find an idol and just be totally chaotic with using it.
Well, Zach thought Paige was gone. Like, he thought Paige was gone for sure.
Right.
So I think at that point, like Steve, like kudos to Steve. Honestly, I think he did actually put in some work because of later things that happen in the season with like Benji's voting confessionals and stuff like that. But like yeah, it was just it took one guy for the girls to go for the girls to take control. So that was very
Right.
interesting to see.
Right.
And Heath, but
right, that too, yeah. Yeah, let's also talk about that. So at this point too, Heath is getting tighter with Tegan. We see that this twosome is really kind of breaking apart from Zach and Robbie, like especially after this Steve vote goes down. So we're starting to see the contenders kind of like form little factions. Like we have all the women. So we have like Anita, Fenella, Shawnee, Paige kind of in one corner, and then we have like Zach and Robbie, and then Tegan and Heath are kind of splitting off into their own, which
with
is
Jenna too.
With yes, I don't know, Nate. Did you listen to Tegan and Paige's like deep dive interviews with Rob Has a Podcast?
No, I did not. But like just based off of what I like off the show, they were the threesome.
Yeah. So Tegan kind of explained this more on that interview, but she said that Jenna, they didn't really show this too much in the show, but Jenna really was team Tegan and team Heath. And the worst thing that happened to Tegan and Heath's game was Jenna having to leave, unfortunately. Deb and I, we talked about this a little bit, but that was so heartbreaking.
Oh, God.
It was really, really tough. And I really felt for her because you could just tell like she really wanted to play.
Yeah.
I believe she would play with a cast on.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
She'd say, give me a boot and I'll do it. I really think she would.
Make me into Missy. I'll keep playing the game.
Right, exactly. and so unfortunately we see everybody vote out Jenna. And that's really a shame because I really think that Jenna had what it took to kind of be like a really delicious like villain for this season. I feel like she had a lot of scrap to not be afraid to make big bold moves and not afraid to like go against the status quo. And plus she looked like a beast. Like if she didn't injure herself, I guarantee you she would have been winning like challenges for the contenders left and right. And I feel like the contenders would have had a little bit better of a winning record. Because especially the contenders women versus the champion women, like I know that's been like discussed like all season long basically, but like the champion women just like totally blew the contender women out of the water in challenges.
When you have professional athletes and people who literally like go through puzzles and like law every day, like that's
right.
That oh man, and like just reads on oh my god, like you're gonna get your ass kicked. Like that's just what's gonna happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So like of course like taking out Jenna, who was kind of like the female beast. I feel like Tegan was really athletic as well. Like we saw some stuff out of her as well, but nowhere near, in my opinion, what Jenna could have been.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yep.
She didn't have the muscles. You know, I mean, she was athletic, but she didn't have meat on her bones.
Yeah.
Right.
And now Tegan and Fenella are their female aces in the hole. Because,
exactly.
Yeah. So and Fenella, like she did okay for like a lot of the challenges. She just wasn't like nearly as good as some of the champions.
She wasn't a beast, but she could hold her own.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that Fenella has really surprised herself. I don't think like she was very like self-deprecating at the very like beginning of the season. Which, you know, is fine. Like that's a good way to like joke and like make yourself be like friendly and stuff like that. But I feel like she's really learning a lot about herself, like out on the island here, as a person and as a player. I think that Fenella's growth as a character has been really interesting to see this season.
Yeah, I really like.
And then over on the Champions tribe, we see Matt kind of forming this like huge mega alliance. And he's really starting to take control over
Started by Moana, by the way.
Exactly. Yeah, Moana and Matt were the two heads of the this like big old alliance. That's still now, even in like We're in Jury and stuff like that, I feel like still has like a really big pool over like the majority right now. And I have to say, like ever since like the Damien vote, Steve has just been like super quiet. Like still like now, like I feel like he's had like no confessionals.
Yeah. If anything, he's just been shown as the nice guy that's in power. Like that's literally who Steve is in this game. He's gotten barely any confessionals, and other than that, like other than Brian, which I love Brian, but like Brian's just like Steve's like really freaking weird. Like other than that, we haven't really got anything negative about Steve. But yeah, other than like, oh, his name was tossed around because he was Matt's right hand man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then after, of course, like Moana gets sick and she asked to leave the game, and then at Tribal, Sharn, like she says, and I thought that this is like really great.
That was a fake out.
That was great. Yeah.
You know, she said she wants to leave, and they're like, no, let us vote. I think that was a fake out.
No, it was brilliant. It was really, really well played. Like they got Shane in that round. They really did get her for sure.
Yeah, because they had to flush this idol. Like Shane, you know, just like Steve, we were just talking about. Shane is definitely one to watch. She's been like super crazy from the beginning, you know, and it's really badass too to see like the older woman of the season be this like she's crazy, like maniacal.
She's the best player of the season so far, in my opinion.
As far as
that's a good take.
Someone like doesn't get their idol flushed and then is suddenly in the majority like 2 rounds later. That's not normal. Like Shane is playing really, really, really well.
Do you think that Shane is playing better than Sharn?
Yes, because Sharn is already being named as someone that is obviously playing the middle. People think that she's either playing the middle or is just really, really close to Matt, because Sam was like, yeah, Sharn's like really, really in with them, and Benji's like, oh, I've seen that. So it's like, it's obvious what type of game she's playing. Whereas Shane, everyone's like, oh, Shane, she's just kind of like, she's just there. She's with them. We know we can't give her info. Yeah, they are. They're going to. It's just, they're going to take out everyone else other than Shane first. And then they'll be like, oh, we don't need to worry about Shane. Like,
who do you think that they see as the GOATs besides Shawnee? We know Shawnee is like the ultimate GOAT. Do you really think that they envision her as a GOAT?
I think they envision her as a GOAT for the time being. I don't know how long that's gonna last because I mean, last season it wasn't Michelle, she got 4th place. Like she was seen, I think she was seen as a GOAT for the majority of the game, and then like top 10, suddenly Michelle was a huge threat to win. So it was just like, people like this game, and like once you get later in the game, you have to be just someone that is not seen as too good at that point, because once you get down to final 6 in Australian Survivor, like you're all like everything's off, like just open.
Game on from there. Yeah. So then after our 2 like medevac vote situations, the next 2 people to leave are Tegan and Anita. Now Tegan leaves, and I was really upset about that. I really love Tegan as a player, but then and of course, like we see the only people that didn't vote out Tegan were herself and Heath. Everybody else, so like we had like Fenella, we had Shawnee, everybody kind of jumped ship to save themselves and really to keep the tribe kind of as strong as possible, because the contenders are just losing people one after another right now. It's crazy.
I was actually very happy to see Tegan go.
Why?
I'm Team Benji. I like Benji a lot. I know people don't like Benji because he's super cocky. The reason why is because he's a villain, but he's a good villain. And like
a good villain?
I think he's a good villain. Like he's like Bradley from Ghost Island like Survivor Ghost Island. Like he's making a lot of entertainment. He's just entertaining for me. I like how cocky he is, and I'm waiting for the day that he's gonna get voted out. I don't think he's gonna win. But
definitely not.
I am waiting for the day where he gets blindsided, because this is going to be hilarious. But like for now, I want Benji to last a little bit longer because he is bringing some villainry.
I want Benji to go get voted out with the idol in his pocket.
No, I want him to be helpless and just everyone just goes in on him. That's what I want to see.
I think this episode is actually where he finds his idol, is the Tegan vote out. So yeah, Benji.
It's after the swap, so it's after the first Tegan vote out.
Okay, yeah. So then the next person is Anita. Not really much to say there in terms of character or like importance on the season, but we do see Tegan and Anita in a classic Survivor Australia twist. Twisty twist, Twistos twist. Remember those days. So Tegan and Anita compete to go back in the game. And then, of course, we see Tegan win this, but not by too much, actually. Like, I was really surprised that Anita really got as close as she did. Like, it really came down to the wire between those two.
That was a really balanced challenge.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Match physically. They were definitely a match physically.
Yeah.
Also, I have to say, like, Survivor Australia, they do a really great job of making their own challenges and not just copying what Survivor US does. And this past season on Ghost Island, they had like the circular thing with like the ball that had to keep spinning. That came from last season of Australian Survivor.
For season 1, it was in season 1.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Elle won it. Elle won that challenge.
I just like freaked out a little bit because I was glad that they were like taking some stuff from Australian Survivor.
That last competition for the last episode you just sent me, have they ever done that before? The under the water thing?
Yes. They used to do that a lot, actually, in like middle school Survivor era.
The last time they did that, I think, was Survivor versus Favorites 2.
Didn't they do it in Nicaragua or no Caramoan? Because I remember
that's FVF 2. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Duh, Tyler.
It's okay.
So
I would be out real quick. I'm claustrophobic. I would be like, yep, nope, I'm out of here.
Yeah, that challenge is definitely more mental strength than anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
Not to mention, like, I think this version was probably the hardest, not because of like anything production did, but because of the fish and the fact that it was like really cold water versus like past seasons when it's usually been really warm. Right. So I think they did that challenge really early in the day because the water would not be cold like that.
Yeah. Next we see the Contenders, which is now swapped at this point, correct?
Yeah. So they've swapped. And it's.
Are you sure?
I think because it was
after
No, it's not. No, it's not yet.
Because I thought that like the swap didn't happen until
it's two more eliminations.
Okay, yeah. So next we see the misogynistic douche go. The Contenders at this point, like they just say like, you know what, like we're accepting that we're losing. Like you're obviously like not like what's making us win challenges. So the women come together and they say we're not gonna have this bad attitude and like constant degradation at camp. So good for the women for coming together, and they took him out. And
how well they did after they took him out.
They almost won. But then
they won the next reward challenge. Their first reward challenge is like the first episode.
Yes, so. And that's where we saw the infamous Nacho Gate. So they did this on Survivor Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers.
Yes.
But instead of a big ass plate of spaghetti, it was all of these nachos in like a huge ass pyramid, and so everybody was just going to town, and I thought that this moment was so funny. But they showed like the clue that was on the table, like in visible sight, and they show Robbie just like stuffing his face, and he's like, "Wow, look at that view!" And it just shows like out at sea. And bless his beautiful heart is all I have to say.
Like, that would have been the first place I looked if it was. Oh my gosh! Like some of these guys, like Zach, ironically would have found that idol like clue because he does the game. But like Benji, like that was one of the first. Like I think that was one of the first places he looked. But it was just like, oh my gosh! Like people, if you've seen U.S. Survivor, you would know that is a recent trick.
Yeah, that has to be like the latest season that they all saw before they went out there and filmed, because they didn't see Ghost Island or anything.
They saw part of Ghost Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that season was just literally trash anyway, so nothing to pull from that season. But and Tegan, like she said that like in her interview with Rob Has a Podcast, I don't know if this is just like revisionist history, but she was like, I saw heroes versus healers versus hustlers. Like I was aware that there was probably a clue here, but I just didn't think to look like on the actual table. I thought it was going to be like, she said that like the fact that there wasn't a plate, like the nachos were just like on like this like surface, just like threw her off, which makes sense. But also like, girl, like you got to look everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I would have found that thing and yeeted that thing right out of the hut.
Right, especially if you're Tegan.
Yep.
Yeah, and what I don't understand is the last person that ate, why didn't they finish it? Like they didn't finish the nachos and get down to the bottom. You would think that they know that they're the last person, just eat everything.
Right.
He might have been full. Like honestly, like that might have been the thing. Like
you gotta power through it, man.
Yeah, I mean there were so many chips. Like by the time Benji got there were so many. It was Benji that was the last one, right?
No, Robbie was the last one, but
Robbie, yeah.
There was still a lot left when Benji was there. That was enough. Like when Benji got there, there was still at least enough to feed like 6-7 people.
Right.
So,
everybody was really conservative with the chips there.
Yeah, I think people took more of the margarita than they did the nachos.
Yeah, yeah. We saw Paige get really and Shawnee they were really margarita happy. So then we see Paige go next, and this was a really interesting vote because we had 3 kind of pairs. We had Shawnee and Fenella, we had Benji and Robbie, and then we had Heath and Tegan. So no matter how you shook it, like I feel like 2 groups had to come together and say, this is what we want to do. We have the majority.
Yeah.
But they had seen that like Paige was previously like unable to be trusted because she's like during the challenges, like literally like conversing with the champions and giving them information.
Yes.
And then the champions pick her to like go on this like reward dinner with them and stuff like that. I think that this was the right move here. I know that like on Rob Has a Podcast, they've said that Tegan and Heath should not have taken out Paige because she could have been like a swing vote that they use in her favor later. But I don't blame them for not like thinking that Paige would be a reliable vote moving forward.
Yeah, and on top of that, I think they were just in a position. It was very similar to when what's her face? She was pre-merge last season. She was taken out by it was the Blue Tribe. I think her name started with an O. Hold on, let me look this up.
Odette.
Odette. Yeah, it was kind of similar to that, where like none of the pairs were like willing to lose like each other. So I think they were just like, we're gonna stick to the pairs because that's the best optimal teamwork we can have together, and just take out the person that doesn't really fit with anyone. So I think that's really what happened there, where like no one was really willing to lose a significant amount of advantage there.
Right. So I was on board with this decision, even though like it ultimately leads to like Heath being taken out and Tegan and stuff. They had no way of knowing like how that swap would shake out. So I feel like that's looking at like a results oriented thinking, which we cannot do. So then after this we have the swap, which finally, like if this were Survivor US, they would have had literally like 10 swaps by now.
Which I'm not sure which is better, like a late swap like this where minimally people swap, or like a like 2 swaps. Probably this is better, but like I don't like it when there's only like 2 people, like 2 or 3 people from each tribe. Like I think that's kind of ridiculous. Like just try to like swap it as much as you can, right, and really shake things up.
Half and half.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, I think it really just depends on like if like one tribe is totally eating the other tribe alive, like in this situation. I think that like an earlier swap would have been beneficial for everybody, because like we literally we're in merge now when we only have 3 contenders left, which is crazy. And then we have like what, like 10 or
7,
like 7, yeah, 7 champions. And I think that could have been prevented with like an earlier swap. But if it's like really superly like evenly matched, like say like heroes versus villains, no need to have a swap. Like let this like these awesome tribe dynamics like totally just play out. Yeah. And then like once it hits the merge, I think like the numbers were totally even in heroes versus villains at the merge.
They were.
Those really strong tribal lines like made for like a really intense merge breakdown.
Which is why I liked Ghost Island, by the way. But
gross.
That was one thing I liked about it.
Didn't you say you gave Ghost Island like 8 out of 10 or some garbage number like that?
I think it's gone down. I would give it like a 6.5 or 7 at this point, but I don't think it was hot garbage. Like
that is still way too high.
I think it's better than like HVHVH and like a couple of the other more recent seasons. Like, but it's definitely not. It's not hot garbage. It was entertaining for me. I liked it. It was okay. The finale was fantastic too.
An amazing winner.
No,
not an amazing winner.
I
totally disagree.
I'm okay with Wendell winning. But like I was honestly okay with any of the final 3 winning in Ghost Island, but like it was just I like the finale a lot. I agree the middle of Ghost Island was like but like beginning of the game, end of the game, good. In my opinion.
We're gonna come back to that.
Okay.
I want to discuss this further.
Okay.
But I want to get through all. So we have the tribe swap, and now we have the new champions versus contenders. I thought it was weird that they like kept those tribe names, even though like we had some contenders on the champion beach. Like I don't know. I thought that was a little silly.
Like I kind of get what they were going for, but like it was like Australian Survivor is inherently different than Survivor, like US Survivor, because they're like, we're going to keep to the theme no matter what. Whereas like US Survivor is like, okay, we're like 6 days in, we're just going to get rid of the theme. So It's just like, I'm okay with that. Like I totally know like next season of US Survivor, like they're probably going to do a swap at some point and just say, oh, Goliaths have now become Davids and Davids are now Goliaths or some shit like that. So it's just kind of like, it's like, just keep the tribal line sometimes, you know, like that's okay. And I'm okay with the contenders versus champions because I felt like that put more fire under some of the contenders' butts and some of the like champions.
That's a good point, actually. I like that.
Like Lydia.
What I don't like is how like they swapped out like an uneven number. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
So they have contenders and 5 champions, which was really strange. Like, why didn't they just like wait one more or do it like one round previously? I think it's just the unexpectedness factor. I mean, they have a lot of super fans. Even some of the champions are really big fans. Like even the people that you wouldn't expect to be super fans, like Lydia is a super fan. So it's just like, it was. I think that was fine. Honestly, I'm very okay with like a weirdly timed swap because for a while, like especially in like US Survivor, it was so easy to tell like when a swap was coming. Like 20 people, like 20-person seasons, it was almost always at top 16. With like 20 people now, it's like, okay, it's either going to be 18, 16, or 15. One of those. So it's like, it's so easy to figure it out. And so I'm kind of happy they decided like, we'll just do it randomly. Like that'll be fine. Yeah. So then the new tribe breakdown is we have Jackie, Tegan, Sam, Brian, Matt, Shane, Shawnee, and Steve. So basically we had Tegan and Shawnee and like the rest of the champions. Yeah. And on the other tribe, we have Heath, Lydia, Robbie, Benji, Fenella, Monica, Sharn. So I really like the dynamics that shook out here on the swap. Mm-hmm. And we really saw like Tegan and Shawnee kind of have to really dig deep and find these like fractures within the champions. And we see Jackie go to her right away and she's like, so there's talk about like throwing the challenge to like keep all the champion girls, but like, don't worry, I've got you. Like literally like right away she said that. This girl is playing like
on them, they're toast.
Yeah. And Tegan, like she did the right thing here. She like uses information to Jackie being voted out. Mm-hmm. And I really think that's all Jackie's doing. I think she just like tried way too hard to be this like strategic mastermind. Yeah, Jackie should have waited like 2 days, like a day and a half or something like that. She should have done what Matt did, and Matt just went to them and just like tried to be friendly and was just like inviting. That's what Jackie should have done. Whereas Jackie was just like, everyone's a game bot. I'm going to treat everyone like a game bot. And it's just like, you can't do that with everyone. Like,
it was
Right.
like, and I think that might come from like Jackie's like poker mindset, where like you don't really socialize on the poker table. So it's just
She tried to get their loyalty out of fear.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's a good way to put that, Deb.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do? I mean, like that's where like the AK comparison kind of falls apart, because I think AK was much more sociable than Jackie was. He was definitely a game bot, but I think like AK, like if you put AK and Jackie in a vacuum, AK is the better player. So it's just, yeah, I think Jackie played herself as well.
Yeah. And over on the other beach, in the meantime, we see the champion girls kind of really bonding with Robbie and Benji. And I really...
Robbie, Benji, and Robbie's boner.
Yeah, true.
Lydia was
I mean, like Lydia and Robbie, like, and I was really rooting for this twosome. Like, I thought that this was like a really great match in terms of two players coming together. Because like, yeah, of course, like Robbie is like physically strong, and so is Lydia, but I feel like Lydia has like age, and she has experience, and she has mental fortitude. Like, she was really teaching Robbie like all of these things, and I feel like he really listened to her.
Yep.
And it was really cool to see like a younger boy kind of listen to this like older woman, and teach him like a thing or two about, because they had that challenge where they were like holding on to the boxes with their feet.
Yeah.
And he was struggling big time. And as soon as she was like, get out of your head about it, like it's all mental, they ended up like winning the challenge because of that. And
the amount of gifs that came from that challenge were insane as well.
Oh, I know. And we see Sharn like really integrating like with this group as well. And of course, like Robbie has the hots for Monica, which whatever. That's all I have to say about that.
Didn't last too long, so it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then we see Fenella's kind of on the outs with this group, so she's just holding on for dear life, like hoping that a swap is coming soon or emerging.
Yeah, and Tegan, like the whole Tegan thing, I was honestly like a little bit surprised. Like I figured that's what was going to happen, but I was just like, they wouldn't do that yet. Like they got to wait a couple more rounds. No, Benji and Robbie are just like, yeah, like fuck Tegan.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. So Tegan, the champions lose another, and the champions are like, like we gave you Jackie, but like it's really time for you to go. And Samuel like tells her this, and she like breaks down crying. And that's always a risky move, in my opinion, to tell somebody beforehand that they're going. We always think back to like Survivor Blood versus Water, when Laura Boneham tells Vetus that he's going, and all the girls are like, what the fuck is she saying? And they turn around and vote her out instead.
Which ironically happened again this season with Sam. So
yeah, that's true. So Tegan goes, and the Contenders tribe has the opportunity to vote to save her, and her go over on the other tribe. So we have Heath and we have Fenella that vote to keep her, and everybody else votes her out, including Robbie and Benji. And I think that this is the wrong move.
Absolutely. I mean, they needed the numbers, once they go into the merge, and now they don't have.
And like Nate said, like I think Robbie just had like a total boner for this new like alliance that he has with the champion women.
Doesn't know that they're faking it.
Yeah, I have a hard time like deciding whether or not this is actually a right or a wrong move. Like, yeah, results oriented. Robbie ended up getting voted out like right after the merge, but like the fact of the matter is like I've been in similar positions with games and stuff like this where like you're already in a losing position. The best you can really do is just kind of like appeal to the bigger authority. I feel like, and I can kind of understand that position, because when they're going to go into a merge and it's contenders versus champions, like they thought it was going to be, and you're on the minority anyway, what can you really do? So it's just like, I can understand the thinking behind the move. That's just what I'm thinking.
I can too, but I still think it was the wrong play.
Yeah.
It's disloyal to the tribe, and you need bodies, shields in front of you going into the merge. And they didn't have any shields.
But who's the shield at the merge if for specifically Benji, because I feel like Benji really pushed Robbie to do this, but
who's the shield? Tegan would have been a shield for sure. Like
I don't know about
going
that.
forward, she would have such a huge target on her.
Absolutely.
I think Heath and Benji and Robbie are targeted before her, but
I don't think so. I think that Tegan, like, she would be considered like the cat that has 9 lives. Like, this is twice now that she's been saved in this game.
Right.
And luck is a huge part of these games, honestly. And somebody that's lucky like that, like that's really powerful shit.
Yeah.
And I think that if Tegan and Heath made it to the merge, they would have been a huge shield for Robbie and Benji, because they would have been going after the power couple first.
Yeah.
Right. And say Tegan stays, like, I feel like Tegan and Heath would have still, like, going into the merge, been trying to stay, like, contender strong to get the numbers. They would have, I don't think they would have been targeting Robbie and Benji. I think they would have been targeting champions.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. I just, it's very difficult because, like, I feel like that would have only strengthened the champions versus contenders. And I think they would have just ended up in a very similar position where they were at the start of the merge.
Sure.
So I think that for Benji, I think that was a good move. For Robbie, no.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see how it works out for Benji. But and then next, sorry Deb, but Heath goes home. Heath is Deb's daddy of the season, and she was devastated when that happened. I don't know, Deb, do you want to speak about your bae?
No.
I don't see the appeal.
Oh my God, you don't?
No.
Damn, he's hot. Damn.
I don't know. I don't see it, but
how tall is he?
yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm not attracted to like height. He's a builder. I do like his tattoos. I'll say that. But yeah, I don't know. But I really did like the alliance that he had with Tegan. I thought that they were like super rootable together. And I was sad to see that they left pre-jury.
Yeah.
So after that, we have the merge finally, and so cut to the first immunity challenge. Everybody's doing the pole hugging thing. This is really where Shane like comes to life as like a badass survivor player. So of course, like, she's one of the first people down, and she just says
she is the first person down.
Yeah, perfect. And she just says, she's just like sitting on the bench. She just like ever so casually says, you know what? I'm kind of keen for a blindside tonight. What do you think? It's like she's like she's saying like, you know what? I'm bored. Like, let's do this tonight. I don't care. And so like she says that to Monica. Like, yeah, but like the balls really come in when she says this to Matt.
To Matt and Steve. Yeah.
And Matt, who like literally like 5 minutes ago on that poll was saying, I'm going to hold up here till Finale's gone. Like, once Finale's gone, like, I'm going to drop because she can't win immunity. Because that's like what him and Lydia and Robbie, like, that's what everybody was on board to do at the merge, was to take out Finale. But little Shane in the corner there, she's pulling strings, and she says to Matt, she's like, look at this Olympian, like, she's got to go. Like, look at how strong she is. And it literally cuts to Lydia, not even using the pegs to hold herself up. She's just like hanging on.
Yeah.
Like
nothing. And so Shane gets this blindside going, and
I think the longer she stayed up, I think the longer she stayed up, the more Matt realized, yeah, we're never going to get rid of her.
Yep.
Yeah. And really, really great job of Shane. I mean, like, yeah, like Sharn was the winner of that challenge, but the true winner of that challenge, in my opinion, was Shane, because she used that waiting time to shine such a huge spotlight on what this problem is moving forward.
And not only that, she did what Benji like was trying to do this past like episode, where she was like, she used Matt. She forced Matt to show his hand when he was just like, yeah, let's go for Lydia. Like, he just showed to everyone that he decides who goes home, when Shane was the one who influenced him to do it. Like, you don't want to be the king. You want to be like the, what's it called? It's, oh man, the right, like, it's like you want to be the king's right hand man, because you're not going to be targeted by anybody else. People are going to go for the head of the king. So it's just, oh man, the advisor. You want to be the advisor, not the king. Like, it's just, So Shane was beautiful move. Like,
yeah, really, really good shit. And especially like with us knowing that Matt has like a hidden immunity idol too. So even if he, which was given to him by Moana, correct?
Yes, yeah, she gave it to him to hold on to, which I think that was actually like later in the season, and they just stuck it in there.
Did she find it, or did she find it?
She found it at Tribal Council.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Where did she find it? Oh,
voting urn.
It was in the lake.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we see, of course, like Lydia go home. Literally, Shane like convinces everybody except for Benji and Robbie, who they kept on the outs of this. So Benji, Robbie, and Lydia are the only three that vote out Fenella. And honestly, I was really sad to see Lydia go. Like, I thought that she could have been the next like Denise Stapley or something. Yeah. In terms of like a type of winner that we would have. And I really thought that she was longer for this game. I really didn't see that coming.
No, me either.
So now we are finally at the jury. And pretty straightforward here. I mean, Sharn, she gets voted by everybody to make a decision for the group. Of course, she picks the decision that gives her the advantage, which leads to her winning her second immunity.
Because Matt threw it to her.
Yeah.
Right, but it's still like incredible that she you have to think like, what?
Was she faking the struggling?
No, I don't think so.
Think so.
Yeah.
It's still like incredible, like to everybody else, that she like held on this long when like I really liked how the advantage. I was worried about like how everybody would know that like she had half the weight, but her bag looked exactly the same as everybody else's.
Yeah.
So that was really clever on the part of the Survivor producers and stuff. Yeah. As long as nobody like picked up her bag afterwards or anything.
Honestly, like no matter what, as soon as that everyone voted for Sharn to get it, I was just like, oh no, that's not good for Sharn. Like, you never want to be the person that everyone's like, yeah, you need to make the decision for the tribe because everyone here likes you. Like, that's so bad. And then when it's so obvious that you chose the smaller bag, like, and you know Survivor,
right?
Like, oh man.
Well, in that moment, I was thinking like, if I were her, I would just pick like the bigger one. Yeah. Like, you don't need to win the second immunity challenge anyway. You're just gonna make a huge like target for yourself.
Yeah, especially since they had the numbers.
Yeah, and then you can go back to camp with this huge thing of fruits or whatever the fuck, and say like, and be honest about like what the choice was. You know, I feel like that puts you in a better position than getting an advantage that leads to your second immunity win. You know, you win 2 immunities in a row, and you're Joe in Cambodia, and you get taken out in the 3rd tribal.
Yep.
So we see poor Robbie go. He honestly looked like a puppy who was like lost or something when they read the votes and he was voted out. I felt so bad for him. Yeah, so bye Robbie. I'll see you in my dreams. And then the next person to get taken out is Samuel. Do you guys want to like recap this episode that we just went through?
What an episode.
He had it coming.
Like, kudos to Benji for like playing it the way that he did though. Like, it didn't work out like Shane, but like it was smart the way he did it, because that way, like, even if it comes back and like people are like, no, I don't want Matt to go, he's not the person people are throwing under the bus. It's Sam. So it's just really, really smart. And like, you could tell, like, based off of the Matt Sam conversation, that Sam, like, people really threw him under the bus to Matt. Like, he was in really like bad shit at that point.
But is, should they have taken out what's his name? The other guy. What the hell?
Matt.
Is it? No, not Matt. The other guy.
Oh, Benji.
Benji.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, it's like the devil you know and the devil you don't know. Which one do you take out?
Right.
It's like Sam, they know him very well. Although they know he's disloyal, they could keep him at arm's length. They don't know what the other one has going.
I think it just came down to how they were presenting themselves. Like, how you act around camp and stuff actually does, like, have a huge factor. Benji was not, like, erratic. Sam was being erratic. Like Monica said, like, Sam is, like, going crazy. He's very nervous. He's paranoid. And paranoia, it doesn't matter if, like, you know that person better than the other person. The person that you feel more comfortable around is the person that feels also comfortable. So it's just, like, to them, like, Sam was just making people uncomfortable with his paranoia and overthinking things. And it was just like, Sam was in a good position. He could have gone way deeper. I don't think he would have made the end, but I think that, like, staying with that group, he would have had to make a move at some point. But I think it was very similar to Dez from last season of Ghost Island. Like, he just made the move way too early and he was doing it in the worst way possible.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And, I really thought that Sam was, like, longer for this game too. I don't know why, but, like,
I thought he would last a lot longer because he's really smart.
Yeah. So that brings us to now. So left in the game we have Benji, Brian, Fenella, Matt, Monica. Monica is a big question mark to me. Shane.
Like, who is she?
Yeah,
like,
right.
I forget she exists.
We actually got a purple edit this season. Like, that's the first for Australian Survivor.
Yeah, seriously. And we have Sharn, Shawnee, and Fenella. We haven't talked about Shawnee too much. What do you guys think of her?
She is just like the ultimate goat, although she does have an advantage in her candy.
Yeah, that's true.
Which she won in the Survivor auction. Which I thought that was pretty interesting, the Survivor auction. It was like it ended very abruptly. It's like, okay, it's over, and they're like, people are like waiting, like, I didn't get anything.
Yeah. Well, I think that that's good to kind of keep Survivor players on their toes because, like, so infamously they save, like, the advantage for last. You know what I mean? So everybody's, like, holding on to their money and stuff like that. Yeah. And then it's not fun when, like, 5 million people say $600 and only one person gets the advantage.
Yeah. And I think they definitely did it correctly. Oh, sorry.
She got a lot of candy.
Yeah, or lollies, as they say.
Yeah, lollies.
Yeah. So Shawnee got her lollies, and Samuel got his chalky milk.
Yeah.
Chalky milk. Oh my
and Lydia got a pizza that appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, and Shane got everything, including a snuggle with Brian on the bed.
It's amazing that Shane got a little bit of everything.
Yeah. But
so
no,
yeah.
I think they did. I honestly think they did the auction correctly. Like, that is the correct way to put an advantage in the game. Don't, like, put it out for everyone. Like, don't do that. Like, put it in a way that is going to throw people off. Like, I would love to see an auction, like, in current modern day Survivor and not have an advantage, because I think that would be hilarious to see. Like, unfortunately, I think they're done with auctions in US Survivor because Jeff just loves his twists and challenge and like advantages in the game too much.
Jesus, yeah, you're so right, and we have to give all the time in the world to these alpha males like Dominic last season. So yeah, who do you guys? I guess, like, where do you guys see the season shaping out from here?
So hard to know because Matt has such a huge target on his head.
Yeah.
But he's getting untouchable status. It's going to that point where they have. It's like, because I think only him and Steve know he has the idol, and he, like, I think there's just enough people in the game where, like, I'm not going after Matt right now, and it's gonna keep going like that. Where it's like, okay, then when are we going to go after him? So I think Matt's in here for at least a couple more rounds. Like, and now that I've said it, he'll probably be out next week. But it's like he's just like. I think Matt is just playing the game really, really well. He is literally a godfather in the game. Like, that is exactly what you expect from. He's a Boston Rob-esque player, but better, in my opinion.
That's a good metaphor. I like that.
Yeah. So, No, the reason why I think he's better than Boston Rob is because he's more flexible than Boston Rob.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Matt really could, if he like just keeps like a strong hold on everything. I mean, that is a risky game to play because you're right. Like you can get like untouchable, and then like people are like, "Fuck this," and get him out. So if he can go to the end like this, like congratulations, like you played a really flashy, really upfront game, and you deserve that win.
Yeah, he's not hiding anything. Everyone, like, he knows that he's in control. Everyone knows he's in control, but he's just like, yeah, okay, whatever. What are you gonna do about it? Like, it's
good to have someone like that that's in control. Let them control everything. Let them do all the hits. You take out all the big dogs, and then when you get down to like, 6 or 7, then you cut them.
Yep,
right.
All the work.
Exactly. I was really high on Sharn at the beginning of the show, but now that we've like talked about it, I could see her getting taken out like very soon here, which is really unfortunate because I really like her as a character. But she's painting like way too much of a target on herself. And also a big question mark to me is Brian. Like, where's his place in all of this?
Yeah, because for a while, I really thought that they were going to take out Brian because he's just, because he was being disloyal and everything. I really thought that, they were just going to axe him. But
yeah, I would like to say that Brian is actually getting like a Christie edit from season 1. But like, yeah, it's very similar. It is very, very eerily similar to Christie. Like, he's not really doing anything, but like he's been brought up like really close to merge and then just not gone after whatsoever. So I think like he's getting a very similar edit. He's being seen as someone that's non-threatening, but he's very much a threat. He does well in challenges. Like,
did you see that the race?
Yeah.
The relay race thing? Mm-hmm. He was killing it.
Yeah, and I think he gave up like at the end. He just didn't go for it. Like,
won it.
Yeah, he doesn't need to. Like he knows he's not the target. He doesn't need to make himself a target. And then you have Matt who keeps winning everything now. So it's just like he's like, okay, yeah, I'm fine. Like no one's going after me anything. Like
and I oh gosh. I mean, like looking at the board here, like it's really like I could honestly see like anybody
taking Who do you see going next? Who do you see going next?
It's either going to be Matt or Benji, and then it's going to be Matt or Benji after that. Like, it's just once one of them goes, the other one is going to follow. Like, that's just how it's going to be, I think.
I'm going to say Matt or Steve because Benji has the idol.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who do you guys, if you guys, like, gun to your head had to pick, like, who the final 3 is right now, who do you guys think that is?
Shawnee, Shane, and Brian.
It could be.
Cool.
It could be.
I like that. And honestly, if that's the final 3, like I'm here for that.
Shawnee. I definitely think Shawnee's going to the end.
Yeah.
The best goat ever. That's so hard.
Fuck, if Shane gets to final 3, that is so great.
Yeah.
I know. Like I would not be sad.
And them teasing that like this is one of the best like end games in Survivor history, that leads me to think like it's a really strong possibility that.
And we haven't gotten the "don't fuck with Shane Gould" like thing yet. So I'm waiting for that confessional. I think Monica's playing for 6th place.
Okay, I can see that.
She's getting a similar edit to the girl that got 6th place last season, where it's like she's only relevant when like someone else is doing something type of thing.
Who was that person from the last? No, the one that we didn't know what she was doing.
Oh, Jenna.
No, Jenna. No.
Jenna Bowman.
No. Jenna.
Laurel?
Oh, the other. No, there's another one.
Angie.
That we gave updates on her every week.
Oh, Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And, like Chelsea was actually playing the game. They just didn't want to edit it because like they needed to tell the story that it was Dom versus Wendell at the end.
Right.
So it was just that's I don't think she's getting the thing is like the difference between Monica and actually no, I would say Monica like this past episode I think gave like some insight into how Monica was playing. Like Monica has a really good read on people and knows how to talk to people. I mean, she when Sam was like trying to like explain the plan, she was the one that was just like, what's your like smart, like your big smart brain saying? Like that's how she's been playing the game. Like she is feeding into people's egos, and I think that's a very good like way to play. I just don't know where she is like aligned with people.
Yeah. I really could see like Fenella getting to the end too, like maybe in replace of Shawnee. And I think that Fenella would be really great in her final speech too.
Yeah.
I say like, don't sleep on Fenella as a player. She's really, really done great work like this far. And now that she's playing an individual game and not tied down to Robbie and Benji and like the other shitty contenders, I think it's time for her to soar.
Yeah.
And, so I think the final three could be Fenella, Brian. I think Shane will be taken out, unfortunately. Like Fenella, Brian, and
Shawnee.
I want to say Steve. Just because like I feel like everybody else has been like super developed as characters.
Yeah.
But we haven't really heard too much from them. So like that tells me that there's time to like develop them.
Yeah. And as we get later in the season, we'll see more of them. But it's like we're focusing on the story now, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah. At what point do they start developing the winner edit?
From the very first episode.
Yeah. Yep. From the very first episode every season. Like
I need to take a look and see who had like who had like opening confessionals before the credits.
Actually, no, Christy's edit didn't start until the second episode, now that I remember, because she had her little freak out in episode 2, which and then Elle calmed her down and she said, I want to do this because I want to like be the winner that 11-year-old me always wanted me to be. Like that's what she said. And,
what a great winner's quote.
Yeah. And then last season, it was just frick, I can't. What's his name? Josiah, was it? Was that his
Jericho?
Name? Jericho. Yeah, I knew it was like biblical, but it was just Jericho was like, he was funny enough to get the edit like that, like you would expect from a winner. But I think because of that, people were like completely thrown off. I think a lot of people thought Michelle was going to win the game.
Yeah. Deb, you need to watch that season, by the way. It's so good.
Yeah, Luke is my favorite from last season.
Sarah's my favorite. She's one of my favorite Survivor players ever. She was so great.
Just correct me where the videos are. I'll watch it.
Yeah, definitely will.
Yeah.
Especially considering how good this season is, I definitely would.
It's even better than this season.
Yeah. Luke, Luke should not have taken out what's her face, like top 10. Oh my gosh, Luke.
We're watching now. I could definitely binge watch this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
I'm gonna send you some links, Deb. But yeah, unless you guys had any other thoughts or anything you wanted to go over, I think that's a good solid recap of what's been going on this season so far.
I think you wanted to talk to me about the Ghost Island thing though.
How in the world can you give Ghost Island hold on, I have to like bring up the Wikipedia for this. How in the world can you give that a 7 or a 6.5?
Because it's better by comparison to a lot of the other seasons that we've had recently. The story was like okay, like that. It was like I understand what they were like. Once you finish this season, that's when I kind of like look back and like, okay, now I kind of understand what was going on. I kind of understand a lot of them like players' mindsets. Like Laurel, I really understood with like what she was doing, why she was making the moves she was making. So I can hear you.
Oh, sorry, my headphones died. La 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 la. Keep going. Let me see if I have other headphones. Can you hear yourself now?
You're good.
No, I can't.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So, it was just basically like I understood the story. Like I don't really judge a season until the season's over. Like that's just kind of my thing. Like the first part, I love the pre-merge in that season. My biggest like gripe was like Bradley was voted out too early just because he was such a good villain. Like I wanted him to make it further. He was just someone you love to hate. But like there were it was just the ending was awesome too. Like I also really enjoy nostalgia. I like nostalgia, so that was fun for me as a super fan to see a lot of the returning stuff. But
I have so many qualms with Ghost Island. Like, first of all, like the theme was just so stupid. Like, I feel like it was just a rehash of every twist and advantage that came out of Game Changers. Like, they didn't really go as deep as they could have in the lore of Survivor history. Second of all, like, to anybody that says Ghost Island is better than Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers, totally 100%.
I was so bored by HVHVH. Like, I did not like that season. I didn't like the ending. Like, the only parts, like, Lauren was my favorite player. She was the person that I was really, really hoping would get further. She was the most interesting person to me. And then everyone else I was just kind of like fairly disinterested by. So it was just like, all right. Like, I knew, like, what's his face? The guy that got fifth. Like, I knew he was gonna get fifth. Like, it was so obvious that he was gonna go out when he did. Like,
okay, but it's not obvious that Wendell and Dominic are gonna like win the season.
I honestly thought one of them was gonna like get taken out by the other person. I really thought, like, but
show the entire season.
And then I expected Dom to win. I was happy with Wendell winning. I expected Dom to win going into the finale, and then the tie was like awesome. Like, I like the tie. I know a lot of people had their gripes about the rulings, but it was just like, whatever. We've known about the rulings for a while now. You can't complain about it. Like, that's like,
tie was cool, but like, honestly, like, this cast just like totally sucked compared to Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers. Hold on. Let's break down the final 8 of both seasons. Let me just list them off for you here. So in Heroes versus Hustlers versus whatever, we have Ben, who is like a whatever winner. We have the
bad winner,
Hoffbeck. We have Ryan Ulrich, Devin Pinto, Dr. Mike, Ashley, your girl Lauren Rimmer, and Joe Mina. What a great final 8 in terms of casting. And let's compare that. Hold on. Let's compare that to Ghost Island.
Yeah.
We have Wendell. We have Dominic. I
like both. Okay. I like both of them.
We have Angela. We have Donathan, who sucked. We have Sebastian, who sucked.
Yeah, 2 of those, but
we have Kellen, who was like literally the only resistance to.
I was okay with Kellen, yes.
Kellen I liked, but she was the only resistance to the Dominic and Wendell show. And then we have Chelsea. Like,
and Laurel, you're forgetting Laurel. Laurel was there too. Laurel I liked a lot. I liked more of the final 8 of Ghost Island than I did of Heroes versus Other. Whatever.
I literally can't even fathom that.
I just I didn't really. I guess that's just a viewer point of view. Like, I understood the final 8 in Ghost Island more than I did HVHVH. Like, I got Lauren. I understand what she was doing. She fucked up massively, but I understood her. Devin, I understood. Devin was the best player out of all of them. Chrissy, I understood. Ashley, I liked. Those are the only 4 that I really enjoyed watching play the game. So, and out of the final 8, I didn't like Ryan. I don't think a lot of people liked Ryan. Ben is one of the worst winners in my opinion. He's not the worst. He's not even close, but like he is one of the worst. I like when you literally have an idol handed to you on a silver platter and then a twist that has like when you are going home and then suddenly a surprise twist saves you. You got there by damn luck. And yes, luck is a factor in the game, but like he didn't really do anything strategically to help himself out.
I agree with that, but I feel like the same can kind of be said about Dominic and Wendell. Like they had so many advantages and shit thrown their way.
But they didn't use them. They didn't use them. That's the thing. Like Dom used one, but he didn't need to use it.
So I actually think, and I said this last season, but I think Ben is the worst winner that Survivor has ever had because he would have been voted out twice without these like idols that were literally just like handed to him.
I think Mike's worse, but
Mike Holloway?
Yeah, Mike's worse because like at least here's the thing with Ben. Like in my opinion, yes, Ben and Mike were in very similar positions.
Yeah.
But like Ben didn't fuck himself over. Like he was very correct in his assessment. He was very correct in his assessment of his alliance. He figured out that they were going to take him out and very, very soon. And he did everything he could to kind of circumvent that. Yeah. And whereas Ben was just like, I'm in a great position. I'm just going to make it significantly worse than what it already is and then continue to make it worse for the next 2 or 3 rounds. And he, again, like they've only both got to the end because they both had an idol. Like Mike was going home if he didn't have that idol. So
Deb looked like she sucked on a lemon when we said that Mike was a bad winner. But I think me and Nate kind of agree that like if you have to play idols to prevent yourself from going out of the game, that's not the mark of a good winner.
No, it's not. It's more. It's what, like Denise Stapley, in my opinion. Like for example, she's one of the best winners because who the hell goes to every tribal council and is only safe at one due to a challenge and wins the game? Like who the hell does that? Like that's skill. That is actual skill. So it's just like in my opinion, like I think Wendell was a good winner. Yes, he benefited off of this new shitty twist. I agree that the twist is shitty, but like we also have Dom. Then we have Dom win in exchange. So like I'm fine with either of them winning. It just so happens that Dom got fucked over by this new stupid twist that should never have happened.
I think moral of the story for like both of these shitty seasons, honestly, is like too many advantages. Like they really need to pull that back.
They really do. Unfortunately, I don't think Jeff really wants that to go away anytime soon. There shouldn't be more than 2 idols in play at any given point in time in the game because, like, and even then that might be
3 Fields gets voted out.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. And there should be, in my opinion, there should be a time limit. And like that's a lot shorter. Like when you find the idol, you have 4 tribal councils to play. You have to attend 4 tribal councils and play it at some point. I like 4 or 5, like don't say, oh, it's until final 6. No, like that's what I like about Big Brother. Like their powers, they have like, okay, this is how many rounds.
Yeah.
They have a very set limit, very short limit. Whereas in Survivor, it's like, no, you get to go the whole game with free immunity whenever you want. Like that's kind of ridiculous. Yeah. So it's just, I think they definitely need to pull back. Like that's also what I like about Australian Survivor. Like with the exception of idols, like yes, they only have 2 idols to play at one time. That's good. But their advantages aren't that ridiculous. Yeah. It's just like they need to cool it on the twist. Like stop doing like watered down Redemption Island shit. Stop it. Like if you're out, you're out. Go home. Like that's the thing. Like oh man, like AK got fucked over because someone got back into the game. Like that was my biggest gripe about last season. But like oh man.
Real quick before we sign off, who are you rooting for Big Brother this year?
I actually am a fan of level 6.
Really incorrect answer, but go ahead.
I am a fan of level 6. I'm like honestly, I think Casey's playing the best game.
Good.
I want her to get to the end at the very least to argue her game. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be mad at seeing Tyler winning either. I just think it would be too predictable. I said I wouldn't be mad. I just don't like. I'm like I prefer Casey.
Yeah.
Sam
it wouldn't be like Sam winning. Do you know?
Yeah. Like Sam, I enjoyed for a good part of the season. I just don't want her in the end. And like Haley is a lost cause at this point. All of the Hive was just so disappointing. And I wouldn't mind seeing Brett get further. His time is very rapidly coming to an end, but it's like
he didn't do anything to warrant a win.
I know. I wouldn't mind seeing him last longer in the game because he's entertaining. He's the villain that you like to hate. And he brings some spice to the game. The anal ice thing was hilarious to me. So like
but it's too late. It's really too late at this point to try to build a resume.
Yeah.
It's too late.
I mean, that's arguable. I think that depends on the person. I mean, like Steve won the game in the final 3 of BB17. So I think that's debatable. I think it's just timing, presentation, and just like how you argue it. Because like Paul last season, I mean, Paul technically played a better game in a vacuum, but Josh was a genius for using the freaking like goodbye messages the way he did. So like it's just like how you present it. And I think like yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to see like how the rest of the season shakes out. I'm sure we'll have you on for like a Big Brother recap so we can break that down more.
So if Casey doesn't win, who do you want to see win? If Casey doesn't win,
I said I wouldn't be mad if Tyler won. That's like the only. I think that's the only reasonable option at this point. So it's just like because he's the only one that's really trying to play the game and actually playing it well. So
Tyler, what do you think?
What's that?
What do you think?
About what? I'm sorry, I'm texting Allison. What do I think about what?
If Casey doesn't win, who would be your next contender?
Brett.
Do you really think that he earned a win?
I think that he is a junior version of Dr. Will, and if he gets there, he can talk his way out of a paper bag.
I can see what you're saying. Based off season 2, I can see what you're saying for that. Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, with that being said, I do want to do a recap for Survivor Australia once the season's done. So I will be recruiting you two first for that. So stay tuned whenever that is. And for everybody that watches regularly, we will be on tomorrow to talk all things double eviction. I think it's just the three, or are we?
Oh, I need to make that phone call.
Yeah, so we might be having Caitlin on tomorrow after the double eviction.
Yeah, I need to get that phone call now. Because it's what time? It's 11 now. So it's 9 o'clock there?
Yeah.
Or 10. No, 9, 8, or 8. Yeah, something like that. All right, I got to go make that call.
Yeah. But yeah, so everybody stay tuned for our recap coverage with or without Caitlin tomorrow for the double eviction. And Nate, of course, you're always welcome on our shows to talk Big Brother. I love breaking down. You and I feel like, are on the same wavelength strategy shit. So I love it.
Except with Ghost Island versus HVHVH. But...
Right, exactly. Gross. Anyway, thanks for coming on the show, both of you, and talking Survivor Australia. And with that, everybody have a good night.
See ya.
Bye. Allison. That awkward moment where we wait for Allison.
So while we wait.
Wait. Nate in his basement.
Yeah. My creepy ass basement.
Yeah, do you have like a pit where like chicks put the lotion on their skin down there?
No, but there were talks about that when this house was first built. Like yeah, they should put a pit like right under the stairs. There should be like a rope going up and down. Maybe throw some chapstick in there too, just because, you know, like spraying people with water tends to dry them out. So like, but yeah, no. Oh man, but yeah, no, it's just. What do you guys think about the next season of Survivor cast for US?
I haven't looked at the cast yet because I want us to do like an analysis breakdown.
Got it. Yeah. Natalie is my preseason favorite. She's not gonna win, but she's my favorite.
Let's take a look at everybody.
She was on the preview from the last season. She was the.
I'm gonna dip because I gotta go to the bathroom.
Got it.
So then I got a phone call.
We'll just talk about things Survivor. But yeah.
All right, where the hell is Allison?
Yeah, Natalie is probably one of my favorite. Oh, there she is.
Oh, speak of the devil.
Speak of the devil, and she will show up.
I'm back with an idol in my head.
That's right.
Yeah. So we're done with the show.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna turn it off.